Dawn Piercy, where we're not afraid to talk about things that go bump in the night, with special guest co-hosts and so much more. We're bringing you the facts versus fiction and the history of it all. Remember, it's always darkest before dawn. Tune in every Wednesday at 10:30 and get your bite. Welcome to Season 3 of After Dusk with Dawn Piercy. I'm your host, Dawn Piercy, with special guest co-host, which is whom seeming become a regular, Brian Dennis Hartford. He is an author and a master researcher. And today we are bringing you the history of fairies this season.
Yes.
And the history of fairies can be a very controversial one. When most people think of fairies, you think of Tinkerbell. Well, we are here to pop your bubble, okay? We're bringing you resources. This is where we're not afraid to talk about things that go bump in the night. And I myself, one of the reasons I am bringing you this show is because I myself have seen them, okay? I have seen them, and what we're about to share with you, what we're about to go over with you. I found a video of the thing I seen, and then also I'm going to show you some pictures where I believe which was a fairy showed up on my face, and it was an accidental picture. And so that's what we're going to start with, and then we're going to get into the history of fairies. And Brian is bringing, he's done so much research, and we have so many sources for you, so you can make so you can make a decision, a conscious decision on your own. Are they dark? Are they light? Are they neither? There are even scenarios where they don't have souls. What we do know is that they lived long ago. They've been here way before mankind, and they come from the land of the giants, the land of the Nephilim, okay, which the Grimm was king over. And in this land of giants were all things magical. There's history of war, going to war, fairies and brownies and sprites going to war with humankind in Ireland, Scotland, all over in many cultures. And then the fairies are known to have gone into hiding. There's much taboo behind them, that people believe that when fairies were around, people would get get sick, get tuberculosis, get all these things. And it was something that, so and there's even talk of fairies being mixed with humankind, that some fairies can actually look like humans. So they can range from 3 inches tall to 6 foot tall, if not taller. So are we walking and living amongst these beings without knowing it? How do we use discernment to know if they're from the light or if they're from the dark? How do we know to use discernment to be able to step away from these things so they don't harm and hurt our lives? So this is a little bit about what the discussion that we're going to be having. And we're going to start with that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you a video. And in this video, there is, we're going to start with little people. And the history behind the little people, whether it be gnomes or brownies or sprites, is a very dark one. From children disappearing, missing people, missing cases, abductions. And Brian's going to get into that after this, but I wanted to share this with you So with much ado, I am going to show you this video. So bear with me, and I'm going to bring it and start it from the beginning for you. And we are going to watch it. And you make your own decisions. Right there. Right there. That's where you see the brownie, if that's what you want to call it. And there you can see them. These kids are absolutely terrified. Absolutely terrified. And this is the thing that I saw.
Is that an insect?
In the
Let's have a
woods.
look.
And yes, it does look like an insect.
This was kind of a weird...
Right, and this one actually looked at me, and it had a very frail, thin frame on its face. Here it is in slow motion. This man is terrified. But when it looked at me, it opened its mouth and went, ah! And then in return, of course, I did the same, and I was just in utter shock. I was not alone. I was not alone when I seen this.
Right. Which is rare. Usually
Look at that.
Like nobody else.
And this sounds so malice. It sounds so malice here at the end. Listen to this. This cannot be from a place of light. That really causes chills to go down my spine, Brian. What are your thoughts on that?
Don't walk
that
alone
really causes
without a
chills
shotgun.
to go down my spine. What'd you say?
I said, don't walk alone in the woods without a shotgun. That goes through my mind.
Well, the thing is what I seen, it was so tiny. I thought it was an insect, like these people thought it was an insect.
Right.
And I noticed it was different. And it had the long, thin legs and the arms. And when it looked, and it even had like a little tuft of hair on its head. And when it looked at me and opened its mouth and was like, ah, and I was like, ah, you know, because I couldn't register in my mind what I was seeing. I couldn't do it.
Right. And it's hard to, right? If you're not expecting it. And if you've never seen that type before, you know, and that one in particular is an especially scary one. It's kind of got these bat wings. It's kind of, I don't know, kind of its body's just kind of hanging there, and it, you know, it's creepy. So you hit the nail on the head with kind of talking about that's a commonality, which we'll get into a little bit more. And like with that last Aliens, especially, it's a lot like what most people who have been abducted report aliens to look like, right? Small bodies, 3 to 4 feet
like
high,
that? Really?
frail, long arms and legs, right? And their facial features are usually the big eyes, kind of a thinner face or high cheekbones and a very small mouth. And in some of the folklore with fairies is that they're actually pretty hideous. Like they only have one hole for their nose. They don't actually have a nose.
Right.
Their mouth is kind of like this tiny little, like kind of creepy little opening with some teeth in it, but it's not like lips. It's kind of and their face is very long, and they're just kind of a very creepy looking creature, as evident in that film.
Now, so, on the other side of that, you know, the way that we depict fairies, that we imagine them kind of like Tinkerbell or your average flower fairy, kind of reminds me of the thing that showed up on my face. And I'm going to show that to people real quick, and then we'll get back to this.
Probably more it was passing by. You know, like maybe not on your face per se, but it's passing by. But yeah, it's kind of, see, and that's a weird one because that's more kind of like a will-o-wisp, you know, like which is the magical lantern or magically cast balls of light by the fairies. Okay. However, fairies have been known to glimmer, which goes back to the alien thing. So perhaps it was in transit. The other plausible explanation of that is that since fairies do exist in a different, are thought to exist in a different realm, just like aliens, it may have been kind of, say, teleporting into or out of our universe or our known existence. So I think what's interesting about that is that's a picture where possibly you either caught this being moving through our universe, or you caught it exercising some form of magic, whether to try to make itself ghostly or to use like the will-o-wisp or some sort of magical light.
Right.
Or it could just be the fairy itself, because there are some descriptions of fairies, and this would kind of be going back to the pretty beautiful fairies, that they're kind of like ghosts. They're not really corporeal. They're very kind of see-through, and they're kind of like being like cartoonish isn't the right word, but that animated kind of very like soft feel to them, like as if you could put your hand through them like a ghost.
Thanks for tuning in to After Dusk with Dawn Piercy. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you enjoyed it, like, share, subscribe, and tune in next Wednesday for the next part in our web series at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you feel fit to buy me a cup of coffee once a month for bringing you this series, you can do so at our Anchor.fm platform under a new podcast. Until next time, keep it real.